It's the finale of a 6-game homestand as the Rapid City Rush have the rubber game tonight against the Wichita Thunder on Rush Fights Cancer Night. Dave Smith, Rush head coach and GM, alongside. Well, the big news last night came out not long after we talked, so we couldn't get to it in our interview yesterday. A significant trade involving both organizations, the Calgary Wranglers dealing Blake Bennett to the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and in return, the Wheeling Nailers give us Eric Parker, a defenseman, and Cole Timken, a forward, plus a player to be named at season's end. I'm sure it's a trade that people woke up yesterday not expecting to see or hear about, but it goes down at the 11th hour AHL trade deadline yesterday. And Dave, I guess the question everyone has is, why pull this trade off? Why Blake Bennett? Why that trade? And why at that time?
Well, there's a lot of reasons that you make trades, and there's a lot of reasons you don't make trades, and some of those, get talked about publicly, and some of them don't. But what we can share is that Blake Bennett's a really good hockey player, and Blake Bennett, scored a lot of goals here in Rapid City and produced a lot of points, and to make a change like that, it has to be well discussed and well thought out. After we played Wheeling approached me and in relation to Calgary and Wilkes-Barre as well, and they thought that a player like Blake Bennett would really help their team. For us, we want to make sure we treat Blake Bennett properly. We want to make sure he understands, that he was wanted there. He has value, and we were able to address a couple needs on our roster, both now and in the future. And you have to make some tough decisions. So, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of long discussions that end up getting pushed up against a deadline. And in the end, we decided to make the move.
Yeah, we'll start with this. It's a move that on paper works out for all the players involved. And for Blake Bennett, getting a chance for the playoffs. Wilkes-Barre is second place in their division. If he goes there, Wheeling is first place in their division. Even the Pittsburgh Penguins are in playoff position. So no matter what level he ends up at, a playoff chance for him. And as for the players that you're getting from Wheeling, it addresses needs right away. The two things that have been brought up all year on this show, by fans, whatever it may be, defensive abilities and physicality and toughness. And each of the two players you're receiving addresses both those values.
Yeah, I mean, we were excited about Cole and Eric to join us and get in here. And again, our goal hasn't changed. We try to win every night. We try to win every game, and we've had some deficiencies, and this addresses them. This addresses a couple of them. It doesn't address all of them, but every team has deficiencies. Every team has things that they wish they were better at or try to improve on a daily basis. And, we start with effort and attitude, and we've had it. We've had positive effort, positive attitude, and we got to find ways to win. And a lot of times that means personnel changes.
All right, let's get both those players really quickly. Scouting reports. Eric Parker, a defenseman. Both guys in this trade from Wheeling, buried in their really deep roster of contracted players. But when Parker's been in, he's been top-line defense before and averaging about 20 minutes a night when he's been in, and he has some skill to his game as well.
Yeah, he's a very good player. He's right shot D that, we've known. I actually did a home visit with him in probably 6 years ago when he was teammates with Quinn Olson in junior hockey. So we know he's a high-character guy. Both him and Seth Fighton, who played with him in college, immediately messaged me and said, hey, what a great guy and a really good player. So he's looking for opportunity. And, that part, these players in this league know that if they're not playing, they're not able to build value in themselves, and Eric's excited about that.
And Cole Timken, who, by all accounts, a fan favorite in the Wheeling organization and someone who will hit anyone, fight anyone at any given time, racks up a ton of penalty minutes, but also has some scoring in his game too.
Yeah, you know what? He had 50 points playing for the London Knights in the Ontario Hockey League, and he also played for a former coach of mine at Brock University. And everybody says the same thing: what a good guy, what a caring teammate, and scary tough. So we'll see all those things if they can come together for us. But he's also got some skill. I mean, he's got some skill. He can play the game, and again, we're excited to get him here.
What's your message after pulling off a trade like that near the end of the season when this team still has a mathematical shot if they can keep grinding out some wins? What's your message there and the response by the room?
Yeah, the message is we define the next steps. We create what we want in the room, what we believe the story can be. There's people on the outside are entitled to their opinion. They're going to say what they want. And, when you give up a player that's as talented as Blake Bennett, and they may not know the players by name coming in. They've got to answer their own questions as fans and people that watch us. But internally, we know what we're capable of, and anything that we do, we want to do together.
Last night's game, another close one between these two teams, a 3-2 win for Wichita in regulation as they score a couple of times in the third period. Rush led a couple of times in the first and the second. Maurizio Colella and Brett Davis, a power play goal for you guys. Overall look at a game last night that, again, was right down to the wire between the Rush and the Thunder.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game, pretty even game. They capitalized on that one late. We weren't able to capitalize on one before that. You know, when it's 2-1, you want to really get the next one. We had a couple really good looks, and give credit to Wichita for hanging around, hanging in there, and finding a way to get that goal in.
What's made these games so close? All but one between these two teams has been a one-goal game.
I think both teams, have enough structure. There's skill in the game. I think both teams know that we're close in the standings, and it's been like that since day one in a 1-0 game. I think the teams are very similar in personnel in terms of a couple high end guys, couple middle end guys, couple good bottom six players, the D move pucks. So I think those things that present similarities present close games.
We saw Jaden Shields make his debut back on Thursday, and his first 2 points with us coming last night. You put him on power play 1 right away with Blake Bennett leaving in that spot, and he's a right shot D, just as you like on power play 1. What does he bring to the game as a right shot D, but someone who, as we've talked about, offensively gifted as well?
Yeah, he's got a real good feel for the game, has an aggressive mindset, and a really good stick. How
does the power play now align? No Bennett on his usual spot on the power play. Chizowski can play that right wall a bit more with guys who are similarly minded players on the power play. How does that now realign the roster and the power play looks?
It puts everybody in the right chair. Chizer's played that spot in the half wall for a long time. Wags and him can play either side. Ole's a really good bumper. Davo's been a really good net front guy. So it gets more guys in a chair that they've been comfortable and successful in.
Okay, Rush fights Cancer Night here tonight. Obviously a very important game. Cameron Buell, his mom Kay, who battled an aggressive and rare form of cancer, stage 4 cancer, and beat that 3 years ago. She'll be dropping the puck tonight. Cameron Buell's going to wear an A on his violet and black jersey here tonight. A special day in the organization every single year, and your first one with us.
Yeah, I think everybody has had somebody in their life affected by cancer, whether it be a family member, an aunt, an uncle, a grandpa, grandma, a neighbor, a friend. And to be able to recognize and support those people that have battled or continue to battle cancer, it means a lot to us. And to have Bueller's mom here and dropping the puck with the odds that she has beat, it's a tremendous story. One I recommend everybody to listen to and pay attention to. So, we just do our part.
Dave, good luck. Thank you.
Thanks.